What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and your spiritual journey. Today, I wanted to come on and speak about the topic of the wounded inner child. A lot of times, as an adult, when you come into contact with the narcissist over and over and over again, like I stated before, a lot of the empaths have been birthed through narcissism, and so they were raised in a narcissistic dynamic family, right? It's just a family that is dysfunctional, right? And so a lot of times children are abused and emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally abused, and they never get the assistance. That child never gets the assistance that they need throughout their childhood. And so we take that child into our adulthood, right? And so inner child work is a form of therapy that one can do with themselves, right? Because only you truly know your inner child. Inner child work is the foundation. It's the foundation of shadow work. One trying to jump straight into shadow work and ignoring the foundation, it will undoubtedly crumble. Although any kind of shadow work is good work. But I want to bring to your attention that the inner child work is the foundation of the shadow work. So what is the difference? I'm going to do a video on shadow work separately, but I want to give you a quick snippet of what the difference is between inner child work and shadow work. So inner child work can be things like fear, shame, guilt, feeling unseen, feeling unloved, insecurities when it comes to shelter, clothing, food. And shadow work can look more like anger, jealousy, envy, resentment, revenge. So the inner child work is more on the innocent side of the person. What the insecurities that the child may have had, that the adult may have had when they were children. Now, these insecurities of the inner child manifest in the adult as anger, fear, jealousy, envy, control. So in going back, it's kind of Heyoka work, yeah? You're kind of going backwards. And going backwards into the inner child and healing those wounds when they first began, and then moving forward into shadow work. Because now you know, you have a better understanding as to why you have the anger, the jealousy, the control, right? The envy, resentment. Those are the adult reactions to the inner child wound. So this is why it's important to work with the inner child wound. Inner child wounds are with us. They walk with us for our entire lives. Yes, they may manifest as something different in the shadow, but the inner child wound, it's important that we face those inner child wounds. So what are some of the things that one can do for inner child wounds? So let's just say that the abusive family never saw the inner child, never heard the inner child, never saw the child, never heard them, never acknowledged their fears or their pains or their hunger even, never acknowledged when they were sick, never acknowledged anything about the child. When the child grows up, right, this may manifest in control. It may manifest in fear. It may manifest in anger. So let's go to the inner child and let's just use the example of being unseen or shame, for example. Let's use the example of shame. So the child is shamed, right? The child is shamed If their nose is snotty, the child is shamed. If they accidentally urinate on themselves, the child is shamed. If they don't clean up behind themselves after using the bathroom properly, the child is shamed, right? And so when the adult grows up, they can either be extremely messy or OCD with cleanliness. And that becomes the shadow. The obsessive compulsive disorder becomes the shadow. So how do we work with this inner child wound of shame? Right? And you can do the same thing with fear, with anger. You can do the same thing with guilt. So you go back. This is one of the techniques. You get you a journal. You go back to the first time you ever remember shame. Was it when you were 3? Was it when you were 7? Was it when you were 6 or 8? When was the first time you ever remembered shame? And you want to write that down. The first time I remember shame, I was 6 years old, and whatever happened. Then you want to write down the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, how, why, right? The 5 W's and the H: who, what, when, where, how, why. Okay. Who, what, when, where, how, why. Yeah. You want to say who the incident occurred with. Was it a teacher? Was it your mother? Was it your sister, your father, your brother? Who was it? What was happening at the time? What was happening the first time you felt shame? When? When did it happen? How old were you? Where? Where were you at when it happened? Why? Why do you perceive that it happened? And so you write those things down, and then you want to write about how you felt. How did you feel in that moment that you were meant to feel shameful? Once you have all these things wrote down and you journal about it, right? Now you want to see how that manifests into your adulthood as the person you are right now. Shame may manifest in wanting to be a part of something and then being rejected. One may feel shame. Shame may manifest in someone saying something about your weight or something about the way you cook. Shame may manifest in someone just maybe criticizing you in some way, and the shame may manifest. And so in being shameful, how can this one particular inner child wound manifesting into adulthood, how do we connect this to the narcissist, the narcissistic empathic relationship? Shame in a narcissist empathic relationship ends up defeating the empath because the narcissist will cause tons of shame, especially in their devaluation of you, their discarding of you. They can cause a lot of shame. And this defeats the empath, the unhealed empath. It defeats them. So you may have been with a few narcissists, and then you guys broke up or something, and then your family's in the background saying, she can't keep no man, he can't keep no woman. It's the shame of it. And so the shame of it will allow you to bring the narcissist back in. I don't want to be by myself. Everyone else is in a relationship but me. I need to be in a relationship too. And so it's the shadow of shame that may bring them back in. That's an example. The shadow of fear can be the same way. You can journal about it. Bring it from do the Heyoka method. Go backwards. Go backwards when the first time you felt shame. Go backwards when the first time you felt guilt, anger, sadness, abandonment. Go backwards and then work your way forward to what's happening right now. Embarrassment. Now, as an adult, you may get embarrassed about something, right? And it throws you into a spiral. You're so embarrassed. You're so ashamed. I can't believe that I said that. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that in public, whatever it is. Go back to the first time you ever felt embarrassed. Were you dancing in the living room and your grandmother looked at you and laughed and said, girl, you can't dance, or boy, sit down. What was it? What did the embarrassment start with? And then you work it forward. This is Heyoka healing. In Heyoka does everything backwards, right? So you go back to that and you find out the who, what, when, where, how, why, to whatever emotion it is. And then you bring it forward to where you're at and you connect the two. So when I was 7 years old, I felt this way about shame. And now I'm 47 years old and now I feel, and I was shamed today again. And so how do you connect the two? You bring them together. Got it. You do that with every emotion. Every negative emotion that you have is connected to your childhood in some way. This is why inner child work is important. And so when that shame sits in the inner child, it sits there. This is where it grows into the shadow, because when something is not seen, something is not addressed, it grows. When something is hidden, it grows. This is why it's important to bring the inner child to light. How do we do this? Number one, you want to journal. The second you see that something is going on where, he or she's not paying me attention, that's the inner child. The inner child was ignored at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. The inner child was ignored. So now you're in a relationship with someone and you need their constant attention. It's an inner child wound that has grown into an adult shadow. And so it can be self-defeating. You can self-sabotage over and over and over again if we don't address the inner child wound. So you can do this through journaling, comparing the inner child wound to how it's manifested into adulthood. You can do this through speaking affirmations to oneself, speaking to one's inner child. A good way to do this is to, if you have a picture of yourself, a lot of people who have been through abusive childhoods and stuff, they don't have pictures of themselves. Yeah, especially in my age group, because it's before the age of social media and no one cared to take a picture of you, right? Or you just don't, you simply don't have them. But you may have something that reminds you of your inner child. Yeah, maybe a little truck or a little doll or something like that. But whatever it is. So let's just say you have a picture of yourself as an inner child, or a picture of any child that you may deem yourself that this child may have looked like me or something like that. You could put that picture on your refrigerator or on your mirror in your bathroom, something that you do daily. And when you see it, right, you can put it on the screensaver of your phone. When you see it, you can simply say, I love you. I'm here for you now. There's no need to fear. These are affirmations. You're safe now. There's no need to fear about food, clothing, shelter, transportation. I got you. We've come a long way together, and I got you. I may be late, but I'm here now, right? You can say, you can remind your inner child that you have a right to be angry. You have a right to be resentful. You have a right to set boundaries. Speaking to your inner child, yeah? You have a right to set boundaries with your body. Because a lot of times what will happen if a child has been molested, the shadow as they grow up, the inner child wound, is that they don't know how to say no. You can remind your inner child that it has the right to say no. It has a right to set boundaries. That no is a complete sentence. That it does not have to give an explanation. No means no. Right? So you go back and you nurture that inner child. You have to, it's called reparenting. You're reparenting her or him. Some of the things you can do that can be quite fun. Yeah? You can revisit the child, soothing the child, right? If you can remember some of the things that gave your inner child joy. Was it playing with your Barbie dolls? Was it going to the park and swinging? Was it going to the pond and swimming? Was it just running up and down the street? Was it playing in the rain? Was it riding your bike? What was it that the inner child enjoyed? So you do these soothing child's play. Go ride your bike as an adult. Go to the pool and swim, or go to the creek and swim, right? You can do things like that, right? Go to the park and swing on the swing, or go to the circus. Go to the circus and see the animals, or go to the carnival and ride the carnival rides, right? When was the last time that you did something that was childlike? Well, you have to nurture your inner child on purpose to go do something childlike. When was the last time you went and had an ice cream cone? Or that you wore your hair in 2 ponytails? Or that you temporarily dyed your hair pink or blue or gold or yellow? When was the last time you did those things? When was the last time you wore your polo shirt and your shorts and your sandals like a little boy? Or when was the last time you wore your baby doll dress with ribbons in your hair like a little girl? When was the last time you walked down the toy aisle and you purchased your adult self that toy that you always wanted as a child? When was the last time you slept with a stuffed animal? So these are all the things, like buying yourself a stuffed animal, just setting it on your bed. And every time you see that stuffed animal, you do your affirmations. You are safe. You are so loved. I see you. You are worthy. Now, this won't resonate with everyone. But for those who get what I'm saying, they get it. Right? And that's who I'm here for. Maybe later on it will resonate with others. Last night, the reason I'm speaking about inner child today, because my inner child came up yesterday during a conversation with a friend of mine that was holding space. I came home and I just put on some Tom and Jerry, because back in my day, that was the cartoon. You know, that was one of the cartoons, one of my favorites. So I watched Tom and Jerry and I ate cookies and milk. I was nurturing my inner child. Gave myself affirmations that you're safe. You can sit here in your pajamas. You can watch Tom and Jerry. You can eat cookies and milk. Nobody's going to harm you. Nobody's going to hurt you. Nobody's going to yell at you. You are 100% safe. And so we want to do this, yeah? You want to remind your inner child that I see you. I hear you. No, that wasn't your fault. I'm here now. And so these are forms of inner child work, yeah? Put on your baby doll dress, put your ribbons in your hair, run around outside barefooted, play in the sprinkler, buy yourself a toy, ride around in your convertible and let your hair blow in the wind. Men are they're kind of good at this naturally, because they get to play with all the stuff they play with as boys. They got their trucks, they have their guns, they have their video games, they have their motorcycles, they have their bikes, they're playing their sports, you know. So men kind of nurture their inner child inadvertently without even realizing that's what they're doing. But I want you to bring it to your conscious that when you're doing stuff like that, even as a man, that you are nurturing the little boy in you. So ladies, do your hair and your ponytails and you know, put on your little sundress and do your nails, whatever it is that you want to do, that you would love to have done when you were a child. And this is inner child work. Remember that one of the most important things is going backwards and journaling ahead. How did I feel when I first felt this? And journaling ahead to time now when you were triggered, whatever that inner child wound was. When you do this work, create a safe space. Block out a piece of time where you can do this before you go to sleep or when you first wake up in the sunrise or whatever. But take time for yourself. Take time to nurture your inner child. In nurturing your inner child, you're inadvertently nurturing the shadow. And the shadow is one of the reasons that we attract the narcissistic empath dynamic. Yeah? So on this channel, we speak about self-healers. Inner child work is a form of self-healing. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you take the time to see yourself, to love yourself, and to remind yourself that you're safe now. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and spiritual journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're really feeling my vibe, don't forget to hit the bell notification. When you like a video, it gets pushed out into the algorithm and someone else gets the information. Someone just like you, someone who may need it. Thank you for hearing the empath side of the story, and we'll see you next time here on Closing the Gap.